Happy Sunday. How's everybody doing today? Woo! If y'all like me, y'all dealing with a hot one. Y'all are dealing with a hot one because it is hot. It is hot. Now, a big difference from how yesterday was, because yesterday we was getting all this crazy rain and stuff, and we had this big old event that we were doing, and I was just like speaking to the Lord, like, okay, God, listen, me and you right here, okay? I'm like, we've been planning and busting our butt for weeks for this event. So, I mean, I know you got your rain and stuff going on, but can we please just have it stop by 3 o'clock? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking. So my husband was like, honey, you must have prayed hard for that because the rain stopped by 3 o'clock. And when I say I am so thankful and so grateful, I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Hey, honey, thank you for coming in. Hey, Leonica, see you're in the chat. I hope everybody is having a good Sunday so far. When I say I am like a sweaty mess. Hey, baby, I know, right? Oh my goodness. Listen, whoo. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. You definitely know the struggle is real. The struggle is real. But yeah, but got my hubby, got my support on the line. So I appreciate you for being here, babe. Appreciate you for being here. But happy Sunday, guys. Yeah, we are almost at the end of July. I can't even believe it. So this was a very, very eventful week. Like I was saying, Monday I was celebrating a birthday, so that was amazing. Yes, another year around the sun. Yeah, hey, guys, thank you for coming in. Another year around the sun, so that was quite eventful. And then, we had a big event on Saturday at our house. It was kind of like our makeover, our backyard makeover reveal, because we have been working so hard. We have been working so hard to get things together, especially since we experienced some remnants from the big fire and explosion that were like within feet from our home. So we had got a lot of the backlash about the embers. If anybody knows about blazing fires and stuff, they have a lot of embers and they fly, and those embers are real, and they can actually ignite other fires and stuff and spark other issues and stuff. So because our home was so close to where the big factory explosion happened like months ago, we were getting like a lot of embers and stuff in our patio and in our yard. It was just horrible. It was horrible. But that, sparked us to be able to be like, okay, well, we needed to do some changes anyway in our yard. So, hubby gutted everything out, just tore everything down because, some of the wood got burnt. It was just a mess because of that big fire. So hubby literally had to like start over and rebuild everything. And yeah, so yesterday was our big reveal of what we got done. We have been really hustling. So, it's still a little bit things we had left to do, but we had worked hard enough to have our event and have our reveal of what we have been working so hard for. So I was very glad that it turned out okay and the rain held up. Hi, my lovely sister.
Hey there, how are you?
Oh, yes. Glad you made it in, baby.
Yes. I told you my stomach's
Yeah.
been bothering me all morning.
I know. I saw your message like minutes before we were about to get on. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Yeah. Hello. Thank you for coming in, everybody. Janae
Hi.
has got us. So we not gonna put too much pressure on Janae because she's feeling away. Yeah. Yesterday we had our big our makeover, our backyard makeover. Like I was saying before you came in, sis, I was like, I had prayed for God to like let the heavens stop raining on us, and so we can, have a successful event. We have been working hard on getting it enough to where we can actually have the event. So,
Yes.
still have some touches to do, but I was like, we'll get to that after our much needed vacation.
Uh-huh.
Because we really need it. Like when I say I have been working overtime, I've been getting over 30,000 steps a day, just
Wow.
working in the backyard trying to get it ready for
Yeah.
our today. Yes,
And it
yes.
was nice. It was a very successful event.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, because we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into having
Yeah.
the event go off without a hitch. You know, the rain tried to stop us, but I was like, "Listen, God, come on now, me and you right here. Come
Right.
on." Come on now. Yeah, come on. You know, we worked too hard. We've been hustling for weeks to try to
Yeah.
get this together. So come on now. Yeah, but I'm glad everybody was able to come and have a great time
Yeah.
and just enjoy. So if you're like me, you're feeling the remnants today of the long day.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm on top of you. I was like, and you ate a lot too yesterday,
I
sis.
did.
You ate
I
a
did.
lot.
And I was eating late too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You was definitely living your best life. Yeah, your your niece said hi. I know. Thanks, Angel. I appreciate
Yes.
you.
How my honey. I love
Yeah,
her. It was so nice to see her.
I know. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, but honey, so I'm excited to talk about this topic today, girl.
Yeah.
You already know. I appreciate the hearts. Thank you, whoever's giving us the hearts. I love the hearts. Yeah. So we're gonna dive in, talk about it. Sis ain't feeling too hot. We had a long day yesterday. We had
Mhm.
event. It was a late event, but you know me, I'm here for it. You know,
Mhm.
I love having family and friends over. I live for that. So yes. So if you're hanging around, that lets me know you're having a great time.
Right, right.
You know
I
what I'm
was like,
saying?
what time did I get home? It was all like probably like almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
Child, we got to be after 2.
Right.
I was like, yeah, when people start leaving early, it's like, okay, maybe they're not having a good time. So I feel like if the longer you stay around, the more fun you're having. So
Mhm.
yeah, so
Yeah, we
really,
definitely had a good time.
yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yep.
Mhm.
So yeah, but honey, all right. So we're gonna go into this topic today. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, and we definitely can relate to this. So we're
Mhm.
gonna talk about the myth of the strong black woman.
Yes.
The myth of the strong black woman. Okay,
Hmm.
whether you know it or not, it's definitely a myth that women has to be strong, especially black women. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
So they say the concept of the strong black women, what they
Yeah.
call it SBWs, right? The
Mm.
stereotype, they call it SBW, yes. So the stereotype is a complex issue with both perceived positive and negative aspects for the black woman. Hello.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming in, Malik Shani. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah. So it could the SBW is considered positive or negative, right? But either way, it's a stereotype for strong
Mhm.
black women, right? So it has its roots in the historical factors, right? Including the period of slavery
Right.
and during the impact of racism and misogyny, right? So it emerged from the necessity for Black women to display their strength, right? Their resilience, their self sufficiency, like in the face of adversities, right? And the
Mhm.
societal pressures, right? So,
Right.
but when it's viewed through a negative lens, it can place unfair burdens and expectations on Black women, right?
Mhm.
Potentially leading to burnout and other negative consequences.
Right.
Yes, I am well. I am well. Thank you for coming in. Thank you. I appreciate you for being here. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of the harms of being a SBW,
Mhm.
strong black woman, right? And
Yes.
kind of go into some, other stuff about how we can combat that, right?
Mhm.
So some of the ways that it could harm us just by being SBWs are the suppression of vulnerability and emotions, right?
Mhm.
So, like the expectations of constant strength, to make
Right.
it difficult for Black women to express their vulnerabilities and seek help or prioritize their emotional needs, right? So makes it hard for us to like feel like we can be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
So right, right.
Always having to be strong all the time.
Always gotta be strong and you know can't show emotions and stuff, right? Because you're strong, you're
Mhm.
not supposed to be showing emotions, and you're not supposed to be strong, whatever, right?
Yeah, we supposed to be able to
Um,
handle it all the time.
right. So and then we get the burnout aspects, right? And the emotional exhaustions, right?
Mhm.
And like being expected to handle everything independently and suppress our emotions can lead to the burnout and the stress and compromising our mental and our physical health.
Yeah. It's like, wow, it's like, because we do our push through be so real. You know what I'm saying? Like our resilience, like, just from being single mothers and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And it's like we be having to do the most. And so
Yes,
it's like people be just already looking at it like, oh, well, she got it.
you
You know what I
got it.
mean? And it's like, dang, like, like, nah, don't have
No, I don't. Right,
Yeah. It's like,
right.
we be expected to be these like super women.
For women, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And people don't understand that it is a burnout, and
Mhm.
it's emotional exhaustion. Like I can
Mhm.
think of like so many different times where I just was like so burnt out and just emotionally drained. Not just the
Mhm.
physical part, just emotionally drained. It's like God,
Mhm.
like I just need something to give. I just need something to
Right.
off my shoulder. I need to get some of this weight, this burden off of me, right?
Mhm.
But that's like a stereotype of the strong Black women is that we're expected to be that. We're expected to be strong,
Mhm.
and if you like start showing like the weakness or you start acting like you can't handle, then it's like oh, then it's these other things that come along with it.
Mhm.
That, like they look at us and they say, okay, oh she got it, like you said, oh she got it, oh she got it.
Yeah.
Not thinking about what it's actually doing to us just to have it all together. The expectation
Right.
you have it all together, right?
Yeah. It's like a lot of time we be pushing because we have to, not because we necessarily want to.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
remember, I think my children was probably, I think the girls was like teenagers when I was like, man, like I'm ready to put my cape in the closet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I was like, Lord, it's like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this
Right.
is so I was just feeling like it was just so much, like I said, then especially as they were, it was more like, like I said, once they were getting into high school and
Mm-hmm.
everything was just really feeling like a lot, because it's like so like they're getting older, they're coming into themselves,
Uh-huh.
what I mean? And yeah, it was just a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Child.
Those were teenage girls, two of them.
Listen. Listen. Me, I had two and two.
Right.
I took both sides. Had the female thing going on, the male thing. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
Yeah.
I know. But being a mom, which one you think is more challenging? Raising daughters or raising a son?
I don't know. I mean, it's like because in some ways, the girls seem easier. In some ways, the boys, Obasi seem easier.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, Obasi was learning from the girls, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
it was you know, like he was just picking up on stuff faster, younger.
Okay.
You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Because it's like he's had examples.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know what I'm
mhm,
saying? So it
mhm.
was like, what I mean, the way that he would talk back to me and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? When he was at a younger age, whereas the girls, like when they was like 5 and 7 and stuff, they just
Uh-huh,
did what I told them to do. You
uh-huh,
know what I mean?
uh-huh,
Whereas
uh-huh.
Obasi was that listen, you know what I'm saying? Well, hold up, you know what I mean, mom, you know what I'm saying? He was just giving me a lot of conversation, but it was like because the girls had gotten to a point, at an age where they were starting to do that too. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh.
now he's 5 and now he got all this stuff, all this talk back.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like all this let me explain.
let me explain.
Yeah.
I'm crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had the older sisters to be kind of be like, okay, I see how they doing things, but I'm just going to take it
Yes, and he
further,
really
right?
and he knew how to explain himself. I was like, "Yo, like, this boy at 5, he was so smart." You
Very
know what I'm saying?
articulate.
Too, like, his emotional intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just yeah,
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
very high, and so he just knew how to, like, break things down and explain stuff and talk to me and make me see things differently, you
Okay.
know?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's like a 50-50 for me. Because I had
Mhm.
both sides too, the daughters and I had the sons as well.
Yeah.
I think for the girls, it was like, all the things that come along with womanhood, you know.
Mhm.
The emotions and trying to like encourage them to like be like self-sufficient and want to focus on them and stop chasing other things,
Mhm.
because I've been there, done that.
Right.
I was like, but I had to be strong. I had to fight through it. I had to navigate
Mhm.
through that, like being a young mom and trying to raise kids and trying to keep the kids on a straight and narrow,
Yeah.
getting caught up in the system and stuff. I was like, that stuff is real. It's hard, especially when you got girls. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
don't get out here doing nothing crazy because you don't want to be a young mom, single
It
mom out
was
here struggling, trying to
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, it was harder with the girls.
It was
Yeah,
definitely
Boston was
harder.
definitely easier.
Yes. Listen,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
he
was
did well in school and stuff. It was like it got to a point to where I was like, "All right, he got it." You know what I'm saying? Like, he understand, like, he's smart. He know what
uh-huh.
he's doing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Listen. I was like, I said my biggest fear was like, y'all just get through school. Y'all get through school. Y'all
Right.
worry about y'all grades. Don't worry about these boys. Don't worry about them.
Mhm.
Like they're gonna be there. Trust me, when you get older,
Yeah.
they'll be there. Like don't let them come around and sweet talk and sweep you off your feet. And as you know, you're young and pregnant and got babies everywhere. No,
Right. Right.
no. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah. Like I had a lot of those conversations. Like no, like don't worry about
Mhm.
them. Worry about yourself. Worry about them grades. Get yourself right. Get your life right. I was like,
Yeah.
I was a young mom trying to figure it out. You don't want to do that.
Right. Right.
you know, like I was like, get through school and trust me. Now they older. Now they see that boys and men are still there. It
Mhm.
doesn't change.
Yeah.
But you got life, and they ain't have to worry about all the other stuff that come along.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but they'll say another way that SBWs, and for those that are just coming in, we're talking about strong black women. That's that myth about strong black women. Like they look at us and they say,
Mhm.
they got it. They wear many hats. They can do this. They can do that. But not realizing that emotionally and physically, we're really drained and burned out for
Mhm.
trying to be that typical strong black woman that people look at us to be or perceive us to be, right?
Right.
But so they say that like we're discouraged to seek help because we're considered a strong black woman.
Mm.
Discouraged to seek help, right?
Mhm.
So like that the myth of us being like strong black women, it said discourages black women from seeking like mental health support
Mhm.
and like suppressing the emotions and stuff, right? So that's when it leads to us not wanting to ask for help. It's showing a sign of weakness and stuff. Because if you ask for help, then you're no longer considered that strong black woman.
Right.
You know,
Right. It's like, "Oh, you can't do it?"
you can't do it.
You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right,
"What's
right,
wrong with you?"
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you reach out and then it's like, oh, okay, what's going on? You always
Right.
got it. You always handling business. What's my you can't handle business? And my
Mhm.
big thing too, I think a lot of men contribute to that too.
Mhm.
Let's just say it. Let's put it out there.
That's so true. I'm saying it'd be like I used to feel like I was, definitely one of those people. Like it was hard for me to ask for help. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because when I felt like asking for something small, it's like it's like asking for $1 million. And it'd be like, dang, like I just asked you to do this like simple thing
That
and you
part.
like giving me all of this,
That part.
yeah, it's like,
That part.
you know,
Yeah. That part.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes you feel like you can't ask for nothing. Like you said,
Right.
all super simple thing and stuff. You know me, like always been that way. I'll try to figure it out. I'll try to pull blood from a stone if I had to before I start asking for help. Right?
Exactly. Yep.
So,
Mhm. Yeah, we be trying our best not to,
find your
and
best.
I know I have friends that are like that too. You know what I mean? It'd be like, or even like times where I've gone through things and they'd be like, why didn't you say something? And I'll be like, it's like I'm used to just trying to what I mean, do it on my own, handle it on my own.
Handle on your own. Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. I feel like it's like almost like a psychological thing. Like if you start reaching out and ask for help, like asking for handouts, like then that's going to be look negative. It's like, oh, okay, look at you can't handle your business now. You got to be reaching out asking people to give you
Right,
stuff and do stuff. You know what I
right.
mean? So like, who wants
Hmm.
that? Who wants to hear that because you asked for help?
Yeah.
That some now you got that kind of talk. You know,
Hmm.
like look at you. Every time I turn around, you got your hand out for something. No,
Right. You be like,
no,
dang, yes. Be like, yeah, you're not trying to hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly,
it'd be like you just rather not ask.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly, exactly. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming in. I see she stole my thunder is in, and we got a few people that is in the chat. Thank you for coming in to our sister talk today. So our discussion is
Mhm.
about the myth of the strong Black woman. And it is truly a myth that women have
Mhm.
to be strong. It is. It's a myth that we have to be strong,
Mhm.
but it's been going around for decades, for years, back into like
Mhm.
slavery time.
Mhm.
This is going back to slavery
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Women back in slavery were expected to be strong. They were.
Mhm.
You were carrying the
Yeah.
baskets on your head, the kids wrapped
Mhm.
around you, all this stuff. You
And
was
still working.
still working, like
Yeah, like you said, with the baby on your back,
right, right.
Yeah, but like when you think about women like, Harriet Tubman and what I'm saying, it's like, women it's like we do be like, what I'm saying, we do be strong. We do be handling the business, what I'm saying? It's like it's just been many times where, you know, um, what I mean, I be feeling like okay, like that I was the best person for the job, what I'm saying, with certain
Right.
things or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's like I don't know, it's like that like I said, it'd be like stepping into that leadership role because sometimes we might feel like nobody else is doing it. You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So it's
right,
like,
right.
like we stepping up. It's like, I don't know, we have this I don't know, what I mean, like where we build this superpower, we build this, this energy that be coming from wherever so that we
Mhm.
can make things happen. Like we be having that ability to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. 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 Yeah. 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 I mean, it's so wild and deep. Like the expectations that get put on us Black women, right? Especially. I mean, I
Mhm.
know women in general. A lot of like strong women, but right now we're talking
Right.
about Black women because we get treated a little different.
Mhm.
For Black women, right? And like we can't go around like like you said, like, oh, can you help me with this? Can you do that? Because then they look at you all side eye like you're crazy, looking like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
typical women, typical women, but typical Black women, can't handle,
Yeah.
got her hand out,
Mhm.
you
And what they
know,
say, yeah, like, cause we do have a strong will. And no, we're
right?
sisters. We're not mom and daughter, we're sisters. But yeah,
Yes,
we do, like you said, we be have that will, that drive, It'd be like, what I mean, because it's when we be left to fend for ourselves, to take care of the children, and
mm-hmm.
like I said, provide for them and keep food on the table, and
Yes,
you know,
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like, what I mean, like, when the fathers and the husbands and stuff like that was taken away and
Yes.
everything, and even, what I mean, like, just always trying to make something out of nothing, you know.
Girl, two
Yeah.
snaps, two snaps.
Yeah.
Child.
Mhm.
Listen, 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 listen. Like I think we kind of talked about it too on previous segments about like how I know my experience, like especially like being a mom coming out like a marriage, and then trying to figure out with these kids and not having like the extra money for rent and the extra. It was just like so much. Like, and we kind of touched about it, about like having to figure it out,
Yeah.
and not letting your kids know that you are trying to figure it out, that you're
Right.
really emotionally
Right.
and physically drained trying to be this strong
Trying to
mom and
protect
woman.
them.
Right.
Right. Mhm.
Woo, man.
Yep.
It's like we're not. It's like we talking about strong women, but it goes deeper than that. It goes down to like strong moms trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
You
Indeed.
know, you
Yes.
know, child not having that support system. You the only one working, and you trying to keep the lights on and the heat, and trying to keep
Mhm.
food in the fridge. Because you ain't got a choice.
Right. Right.
A choice,
Right. Yep.
child. And then I
Mhm.
wanted to ask for help. Hey, Tony, thank you for coming in.
Okay. Yes.
Hey, thank you for coming in, everybody. I appreciate y'all for being here. Yeah,
Mhm.
like you ain't got a choice, right? And I think the
Yeah.
hardest part was asking for the help. And it was like if I reached out to ask for help, I really, really need it. But I would definitely feel away. I would feel
Mhm.
away like that. Like I've hit such a low that I actually gotta ask somebody for help. And
Uh,
then it make me feel like, man, like, damn, am I really like really a
mhm.
failure? That am I really
And that's
like
that. But like you said, it'd be more so like because of the responses that you was conditioned to receiving. You
right?
know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I start feeling really like bummed out like that. Like now I gotta reach out and ask somebody,
Mhm.
you know. And then I think a lot of it too is the pride. For me it was a lot of the pride.
Mm.
The pride get in the way. The pride.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Mhm. Because you want to be able to handle it.
I wanna be able to handle it, all right?
Mhm.
And this is
Mhm.
crazy that the expectation has been put on us that we should be able to handle things and be strong black.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
They say another harm that it does to SBWs is that we get unrealistic expectations, right? And it's a
Mhm.
lack of the work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
So, like that type of stereotype can lead to like the unrealistic expectations, like not only for like in our professional lives, but in our personal lives too,
Mhm.
right? Like pushing that black women like towards like overworking or neglecting their own needs, right?
Yeah.
Because oh, right
Mhm.
at work, that part.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I had that struggle all year. Like I know I always talk about all the time, like, but ooh, the struggle is real. Like work is a lot and stuff be happening. But I feel like
Mhm.
this past year, I got pushed to my breaking point. My breaking point
Mhm.
got to the point where I was just like, I cannot do this. Like I cannot.
Oh,
And I've never gotten to that point where I said I cannot do this.
yeah.
Right. But I had set so much high standards for myself and the expectations on my shoulder to be great and be the
Mhm.
best at everything I
Yeah.
did that it literally burnt me out.
Well, yeah.
It burnt me out. It burnt me out.
Mhm.
Right. And then, you have other people looking at you like, okay, you're so good at what you're doing. Like we know you could depend on you. And it was like then it was the pull. And then trying to live up to the expectation that, oh, you got it, you can handle it, you can do
Mhm.
it. Everybody's looking at you because they know you can do it, they know you got it, right? So,
Mm.
I always had this in my head, like, okay, taking on more that was on my shoulders that was really breaking me down, you know.
Yeah.
But that expectation of saying, okay, you got it. You've been able to handle this long. You can handle more, of course. And
Right.
people look at you and they say, okay, yeah, you got it. Like it
Mhm.
was a point where people stop checking in with me. It'll be like,
Mm.
okay, she got it. She gonna figure it out. Like I don't need to like check in with her, collab with her, and tell her what's going on. Like she'll figure it
Yeah.
out, and she automatically gonna work it out, work the situation out without any
Mhm.
feedback. I got put in so many situations like that. And I was like,
Right.
okay, like, well, when were you going to tell me? Like, when were you going to,
Yeah.
like, you just,
Mhm.
she's good at what she does. She's going to figure it out. Like, she don't need the support,
Mhm.
she quick on her feet. She got it. But like, do I want to do that every single time though? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You
Right.
know?
Be like left alone to figure it out.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Mr. Rosie, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes, right. You're the big 26 today. Happy birthday
Yeah.
to you. Yes.
Nice.
What you doing for your birthday today? Oh, yeah. Shayla Ross, everyone needs help at some point. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Mhm.
Yes, they do. It's just hard to ask for it though. And I think that's a lot of what like black women go through, especially the real strong
Mhm.
black women. They try to be independent. They want to handle their business. They don't want to like get handouts, and they don't want to be perceived as needy, or every time you turn around, they asking for something. You know,
Yeah.
so that's when that strong women syndrome come in there.
Mhm.
But that's what I was saying. Like especially in my professional life, like it was like don't unrealistic expectations was just out of control. Out of control
Yeah.
for
I
me.
think it's important to like break free of that, like so like that idea and to stop being afraid to ask for help. You know what I mean? I'll be thinking that that's like a I don't know, just maybe something like a trauma response from, like a way that we grew up or something, you
Right.
know. What I mean? And, even putting ourselves in different circles, what I mean, to
Mm.
where, and what I mean, to having a different, type of support group.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right. Right.
yeah, because like I say, like I said, it was times when things was going on with me, and friends was like, "Dang, like Janae, like why wouldn't you say something?" Like they, like one of my friends, like she was really like pissed off at me, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like just like with that reminder, like you're not alone, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, because we do be thinking that like we all by ourselves.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and I used to even say that even like with raising children, what I mean, it was like, how, they say it takes a village to raise a child. We out here doing it by ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
And stuff. But
Yes.
but yeah, like finding, like I said, those support groups and things and not being afraid to ask for help. And yeah, what I mean? And so that's why one of the things that I work on now is like just being strong in my that divine feminine energy. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And not being afraid to be soft,
Right.
and like, what I mean, and looking at my softness as my strength,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And yeah, what I mean, like I said, just breaking free of that, like, oh, like I gotta be strong, I have to do it all. And yeah, it's like now I'll be looking at it like it don't even make no sense. It don't even make no sense. It's like, no,
Right.
I
Right.
need help. I'm gonna need some support with this. And even like, what I mean, even, it says sometimes when I get like that pushback, just learning how to respond, to it.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Right. And you know what I can honestly say? Your brother-in-law broke me out of a lot of that strong women.
I love that.
He broke me out a lot of it. I can honestly say,
Mhm.
because I had to wear that hat for so long. I
And you're
had to,
so used to it.
I had to be that glue. I had to hold it together. And it didn't even come from like having children. I think it started young. Being
Yeah.
of all my siblings, I
Mhm.
feel like the expectation was put on me young. Like
Yeah.
like I was like, when I look back now at my lovely mature age, and I look back at my childhood, and I look back to like our life, how we grew up, and I think about that little 8-year old all the time.
Mhm.
I was like, at 8 years old, had so much responsibility and expectation put on me. You know,
Mhm.
take care of my younger siblings,
Yep.
cook a meal on the stove with gas and fire. Okay, let's start
Mhm.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
bathe and take care of a baby. Okay,
Mhm.
I was like, wow, how did I do that?
Exactly. And see, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, what I mean, had mommy been, you know, what I'm saying, been more mothering and doing a thing, then you wouldn't have to been like that. You know what I'm
Jesus,
saying? You wouldn't have had to take on so much at such an early age.
oh my
You
God,
know.
God, oh my,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that little girl. I was like, especially when you're raising kids, and you're like, man, they're youthful, like they're doing what 8-year-olds are supposed to do. They're being children.
Mhm.
I was like, I was stripped of my whole childhood. Literally,
Wow.
I really did not have a
Mhm.
real childhood because I had to dive into parental mode. Like literally, like
Yeah.
I was so much expectation. Like, okay, you got it. You're old enough. You're mature. You can babysit your little sisters and brothers. You can do this. You can cook.
Mhm.
You can change diapers for your 3-month-old baby. But like, what?
Mhm.
And it was like, but I did it. But I did it.
Uh-huh.
But I did it. And it was like,
Yeah.
okay. And I have like no regrets because like I feel like if I didn't dive in and be that strong
Mhm.
black woman, even as a little young black girl, no
Mhm.
telling what would have happened to my.
Right.
And I felt like y'all was my responsibility. Y'all was my
Girl, oh no,
responsibility.
child, had I not had you at 5 years old, Lord, I don't
Child.
know what girl. You know what I'm saying? I might have just been a mute. Cause I remember I feel like I had like stopped talking, like I stopped communicating. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
it was like you helped bring me out of all of that.
Child.
Mhm.
It was like I took on that responsibility. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. It definitely made me stronger. And it was like, I just have a mom that was working and, she had her own struggles. A lot of things were going on, but I was like, okay, I have to take this role or I have to step up. I want my siblings to be good. I
Mhm.
want them to not go without, it's like I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just a kid myself, trying to figure it out. But I
Mhm.
knew that I still wanted y'all to be okay. Still wanted y'all to be okay.
Mhm.
Trying to figure it out. So it's like, so now it's like, so I think that strongness been instilled in me for so many years. It took a long time to break that,
Right.
mold. It took a long time to break that mold. So when I finally met a strong partner that kind of grew up similar to me, but being in the male version, that had to be
Mhm.
strong, had to figure out why they were young, do a lot, and got a lot of responsibilities put on their shoulders and stuff, in different capacities. But it was like two strong people came together. But
Right.
one thing I can appreciate about him, I was like, okay, I'm still a man, and you need to let me be the man. Right? Let
Mhm.
me be a man. Like, stop trying to figure it out on your own. I know you've been doing it for way too long.
Mhm.
You've been doing it for way too long, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
But let me take some of that burden off of you. Let me be the
Mhm.
strong one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it took a long time to break that cycle, that spirit of I gotta do
Yeah.
everything and be superwoman all the time.
Mhm.
And be like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna step back and let you handle it. But I put my strongness in where it's needed. When my strength is needed,
Right.
I definitely put it in there.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was like, as I started getting older, and because, like, once I came with my dad and then I was the oldest and, taking care of my siblings, younger siblings and stuff.
Hmm.
And, and just being like really independent and everything. And,
Hmm.
and then like I said, then, having children and then going through being single mother and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, and
Hmm.
just having to learn how to be strong and, even like, I went to the military and everything and,
Yeah.
like, so it's like, they making you to be strong in there too,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
but it was like as I was getting older and, my dad had actually told me that my dad told me that being strong like that, he said I would attract, like feminine type men.
Ooh, child.
Yeah.
Mm.
He was
Mm.
like,
Wow.
like if I'm, what I'm saying, like, being too masculine, you know what I'm saying, because, it's like, and that's what I was just used to, like, so like, working, taking care of the children, taking care of the house, what I mean? Like I'm doing it all.
Hmm.
And, but he was, kind of letting me know in so many words that, that like, just, just reminded me to connect with my feminine energy, what I mean? So I could attract, a masculine, that masculine energy to match my feminine energy, you
Hmm.
know.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
it's like, that just, got me paying attention,
Yeah.
to that. Yeah.
Right. 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 Right.
Mhm.
Right. 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 Wow.
Mhm.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's like although we have the same mom and we was raised in the same house for all these years. For those that don't know that we are truly sisters. It's
Yeah.
just I have one my we both have two different dads, so that's the reality. Okay.
Mhm.
So when you hear Janae talk about things that her dad would say, like I think my dad was a little different. He was a strong like alpha male, but he never like gave me those conversations about being soft or expecting help or asking for help. It was like, okay, you're strong, we're strong, you know. So
Mhm.
you got it. I know you got it. I know you can handle it or whatever. So he knew that if I came and asked him for something because I really needed it, because
Mhm.
he raised me to be strong. Like it was like I was already a whole adult. By the time we moved out from mom's house and stay be with our dad's side of the family, whatever. But it was like, okay, you're strong. You're expected to be strong. You know.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that because of the expectation to be strong, it was harder for me to like really ask for help. So when I did ask for help, it was like my dad knew I really needed it. He knew I
Yeah.
really, right, because he didn't expect anything less than me to like work it out or figure it out.
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
to like I know you got it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it was like, when strong is all you got. And, when you ain't got much for you, then you just gotta figure it out. Just figure it
Mhm.
out. But
Yeah.
but we're talking about like the myth of the strong black women. Like it's perceived that like we're always strong, that we have to be strong, that we choose to be strong, and it's not necessarily the case. Like
Right.
we just put in situations where we have to be, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't like take a toll on
Yeah.
us, like our mental and our physical like well-being, right? So and that goes to another way that being a strong black woman can like harm you. That stereotype. It's like you dismiss like the hardship and the lack of support. Like you don't really get the support that you're expecting,
Mhm.
because people feel like, okay, you got it. Like why
Right.
what are you struggling about? Why are you going through something? Like you holding it all together. You got this going on. Every time I turn around, you hustling, you working. So when people start to dismiss, like, okay, well, what's going on? And like they don't feel like you don't need it. They feel like you don't need the support, right?
Right.
Yeah. So they said like that perception, of like this the strong black women are strong, so strong that it can lead to people thinking that okay, well, I ain't gotta support her. I ain't gotta ask if she's okay. I ain't gotta ask if she needs something. You
Mhm.
know.
Right.
It happens all the time. Like I certainly myself got tired of hearing it. It was like, oh, I thought you had it together. You seem like you were handling it. You know,
Right.
I didn't need the help because you were working it out, and everything was aligned, and all these different things. Like, okay, like
Mhm.
it would have been nice if you would comfort. Let me
Yeah.
decide whether or not I needed the help or not. You know,
Exactly. Yes, check in, check in.
then like if I don't need
Mhm.
it, I would tell you. But don't just assume because you think I got it all together, and you
Right.
see me working it out. You see me hustling. You see me working hard. And just assume, okay, well, I don't need to ask. Can I support, or what can I do to help you? Because you got it all
Mhm.
together. You know what I'm saying? So that's another way that we could potentially be hurt by that
Mhm.
strong women stereotype. People
Yeah.
think you got it all together. Yeah,
All
it's
the
crazy. Right?
time.
Think you got it all
Mhm.
together, right? But they say like for the other side of the strong black woman, like for far too long, like the emotional pain of the black woman has been ignored
Mhm.
for far too long, right? So especially compared to like the other race and the other genders, like the black women experience is more stress, right? Especially like when it comes to our work life, to our like finances, like we were talking about, like just having to figure it out, make sure
Mhm.
the bills are getting paid, like being especially a single mom,
Wow.
or just a black woman.
You know what I just thought about? Even like in the hospital, like they was saying that, like a lot of times, like, they wouldn't believe that we was in the amount of pain that we would say we were in.
That part. That
Yeah.
part. Because you're strong, right? You got
Mhm.
this, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But we tend to experience more stress, like I said, like in the work, like right, like with our finances, like we gotta work harder to try to pay the bills, keep it over our head. Family
Mhm.
abilities, right? We were talking
Yeah.
about that, like the family life is crazy. Like the women holding it down. And when I think about it, I think about that movie when um what is it? The Love and Basketball. When the mom, she's home, she's doing all the cooking, she's doing the cleaning, she's making sure her husband's shirts are ironed, and cooking all these different meals and things like that, right? So
Right.
um and the daughter was like, Mom, why every time I turn around you doing all this stuff? Like, why are you always cooking for daddy and daddy don't eat and stuff like that? And she just like, that's all she knew. That's all she knew, right? So
Mhm.
um I think about that movie when they talk about like the family responsibilities and stuff like that, right? But yeah, but that be the stereotype of black women, and being a strong black woman, especially when you have a career and you're working and you handle business. Like I always try to negate that, like, okay, well, I gotta be home just being the strong housewife and doing this and doing that, doing that. Right. So gotta think a lot of time we put that pressure on ourselves too, because we don't want
Mhm.
to just be, considered just home, not doing anything, when we can be,
Right.
being just as, strong willed like as our counterparts, right? And
Right.
the men and stuff. So yeah, but it's with the family responsibilities and with the racism is a big one, right?
Yeah.
And the sexism, right? Discrimination and the trauma,
Mhm.
right? For a
Yeah.
strong black woman, right? So like we have a lot of like emotional pain just from that stuff, right?
Mhm.
Um, but it said like black women traditionally cope with their stress and trauma by wearing that strong black woman cape. You were talking earlier about that cape.
Mhm.
A strong black woman cape, which
Yeah.
which would it actually like empowers us, like with the resilience necessary to do what we got to do, what we need to do,
Mhm.
right? Just put on that cape, like, okay, I gotta handle it. Anybody gonna do it for me? So I gotta do it myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So doing that day to day hustle and bustle, just to make it out here in these streets, right?
Mhm.
Like like I be saying all the time, I'm just trying to survive out here in these streets.
Mhm.
Put that cape on, make it do what it do. Right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So but I understand how you said sometimes you just want to take that cape off and just be like, listen, y'all got it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just
Yes. Yes.
like
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
like, can I sit there? Can I put my feet up to that?
Yep. Yep. And it's like, we forget about, self-care and, because you be so busy caring for everybody else.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yes. Taylor says sometimes you get tired of being strong that you want. I know that's right. Absolutely. I get those most all the time that I'm like, oh my God, like
Mhm.
can I just have a day of rest, right? Can I
Yeah.
just chill?
Mhm. I
Chill.
remember them commercials, like the Calgon commercials, Calgon Take Me Away and
That
stuff.
part.
And they used to be like, when am I have my Calgon day?
That
You know
part.
what I'm saying? Like,
That part. That part. I did so many cow go and take me away moments. I can't even count how many I've done that.
mhm.
Like, I just want to get away. And
Yeah.
it's like when I feel good, like when I can just lock myself in the bathroom and just so
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
shut everything out for a while.
Mhm.
It's like this my way of waving the white flag. You be like, okay, I gotta wave
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
I need some relaxation. Yes,
Yeah.
because that day by day wearing that cape, honey, is definitely real. It's definitely real, right? but it said like women who are struggling with like the residue of unresolved traumas related to like sexual abuse and poverty and
Mhm.
chronic instability and exposure to violence, right? It shows,
Right.
yep, it says that type of trauma shows up every day in our lives. Um,
Mhm.
Persistent fear, worries, or feelings of insecurity and shame.
Mhm.
Child. Whew. Mm.
Right.
Listen,
Mhm.
like, especially like you said, when you've been going through a lot, and then you want to put on that cape and you want to be strong because you don't want people to know like what you're going through, like behind
Right.
doors, or what you've been through, like in your life,
Mhm.
like the traumas and stuff like that. Man,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
being strong, being a strong black woman. Right. I'm saying, like, it's interesting. Like, we were talking about like the myth of the strong black woman, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like when you think about the strong black woman, do you think about what's going on behind that strong black woman?
I think I don't know. I think a lot of people don't, what I mean? It's like they just see us handling things, what I mean? And they've seen us do that over time. What I
Right.
mean? Over many generations, what I mean? It's like we was expected to, hold everybody down, keep everybody functioning, what I'm
Right.
saying, keep everybody fed, keep everybody sheltered, and it's like it just became something that was just so expected of us, you
Yes.
know, that
Yes.
is, and I mean that we, like I said, just took it on ourselves, too.
Yeah.
And it's like, and like you said, and then it's like, when you can't, then it's looked at as like something is wrong with you. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, oh well, why can't you? You know what I mean? Because what I'm saying, like your group, y'all can do this.
Yes.
You know.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, that trauma like shows up in different type of ways. And I feel like this platform I've like opened up a lot more about like things that's like happening in TV's life. But yeah, like you don't think about that when you're just moving and you're shaking and you're grooving, and it's like, okay, you gotta be strong. People see you as strong. And then when you get those moments when you're alone, I can speak for myself, like behind closed doors, and then you have that waiting to exhale moment, like when you just need to release because you've been holding it
Mhm.
together for so long, just holding it together.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I know when I've had too much, when I just need to go and like sit in silence.
Oh yeah, I understand now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't always, but
Yeah,
now I be like, I'm all about self-care and, mental health, peace of mind over everything.
peace
You
of
know what I'm
mind,
saying?
everything. Yes,
And so it's like that's why I love doing this, what I mean? Because I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of us that need that assistance, what I mean,
yes,
that need support, and and that need to know that they're not alone,
yes,
and just like I said, that reminder, of just of taking care of yourself. What I mean?
yes.
Because because I used to feel like there was times where it's like I just forgot. I was like I just wouldn't even think about doing something for myself. I remember times like, or even like if I was about to spend money on myself, I would automatically think about what the children need, or I felt like I was taking from them.
That
You know what I'm
part.
saying? And stuff. And I remember, my godmom being like, Janae, like, it's okay to do something. It's okay to treat yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it was like, and I'll be feeling so guilty, you know what I mean? And but like I said, but her helping me through that, being like, no, like, baby girl, you know what I mean? Like, it is okay for you to do
Yes,
something for yourself. And because it's just, I don't, you know what I mean? It was just like, wait, like, but the children need this, and what I mean, the children need, and she'd be like, look, like, but you need too. You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying? Because we
absolutely.
be so caught up, we be just like in it. Like, I think somebody has said, what I mean, yeah, Shayla,
Mhm.
um, was just saying, like, how we be so, it's instilled in us.
Yes,
It's just
yes,
instilled in us. You
yes,
know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like, we, like, yeah, I think it's important that we break free of that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
good that we have that, you know what I mean, to fall back on if we need to and if we have to.
Right.
Um, but yeah, you know what I mean, it's like, it seems like it just stems from a lot of trauma and abuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's like it's like I had a desire to heal from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's kind of how I look at it. You know what I mean? Like we have to heal from that, you know, yeah, like
Yeah.
from that myth, you know what I mean? From that, just being so stuck in that, because it can be very unhealthy. You know, I mean, yes, it's wonderful. But like I said, looking at my softness, my soft is strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And seeing it more that way, you
Right.
know.
Right. Right. Right.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
mm.
Like I said, it took me a while to just step back and just like be feminine. Just
Yes.
like I don't have to be safe
Mhm.
for everything. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
do something for me.
Yes. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but start getting up in the morning and dancing and stuff and you know what I mean? And just, what I mean? And like just connecting more with my own body, you know what I mean? And making sure, like I said, I was connecting, and taking care of my mental health.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah, it's important. It's important. And, just in prioritizing those things.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. 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 But like they say that like many black women are additionally burdened by being like the first or the only, like especially like in like white spaces. Like, have you ever had that challenge? The first or the only? Chat.
Um, I
Woo.
can't say that I have.
Mm.
I can't say that I have. I don't know. I mean, all right, okay, so my mind just went back to like, a situation, being like out in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but I can't say that I was like the first, or the only, but it was definitely not very many of us in the space.
Mm.
Um, and
Mm.
so it's like some people would be intrigued, you know what I
Mm.
mean, by that. But then some people were also like just disrespectful. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like I just feel like I just wasn't getting, it was like, well, like you're gonna just disrespect me in my face. Like I'm not standing here. you know? Um, yeah, you know what I mean? And is and having to digest that.
Yeah.
It definitely was some moments. Yeah, and having to,
Mhm.
push through and what I mean, it's like, okay, like, all right, like I said, just maintaining, still keeping my calm and grace, even
Yeah.
though I'm being disrespected right in my face.
That part. That part.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a burden for a lot of black women. Like you're saying, like being that first one. Like I would say being in an establishment, you're the only one. Because sometimes you reflect you're that token. You have
Mhm.
that token. Like they gotta be that one. But it's put so much weight on your shoulders because you are the only one or that first one in that
Yeah.
environment. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right. Um, Before I go into my thought, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I hope yours is as well. And
Mhm.
our live is about the myth of the strong black women. I really appreciate you for being here for our sister talk.
Mhm.
Yes, but that right there, like I feel like that's like a whole different type of struggle. Like, cause now not only are you black, you're female, and you're the only one
Mhm.
in the whole atmosphere, the whole situation.
Yeah.
That
So it's
puts
like
more on
everything
you.
you do is like highlighted.
That part, that part,
Yeah.
that part, that part, that part. And it says like I said, women this in that type of environment, like they have that sense like they don't belong, or like they feeling pressured to be perfect.
Yeah, how
Be
about that?
perfect, right?
Yeah.
Be perfect.
Mhm.
Like and I know for me I can speak on me like what like the constant like self monitoring myself or like making sure that I'm like not validating myself as a negative stereotype
Right.
about black
Mhm.
women. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
God, like we get a stereotype.
Yeah,
So
we
I'm always
do.
trying to negate that stereotype. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's tough. It is tough, right?
Yeah, or those moments like somebody being like, saying something to you, and then when you respond, it's like, "Oh, you don't have to get loud or you don't have to be angry," and you be like, wait a minute." You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
listen,
You know what I mean?
listen,
Because you're not doing either, but it's like you're just automatically accused of that, and you like, wait, like I just gave you a normal response, and but it's like they just already have this idea, this thought of you and who you are and how you represent yourself. You
girl,
know.
girl, girl. Listen,
Mhm.
do you know how tough it is to be in a situation where you're the only one, right? And a question is asked or something happened and you have to respond in a way that is politically correct.
Mhm. Right, right.
Correct? To negate the
Mhm.
stereotype that she about to get loud and snap in. Snap you
Mhm.
gotta whoo child. I gotta dig deep down
Yeah.
archives and be like, well, honey, I don't know, but let me, just do
Mhm.
like a whole shift and
It's happened
about
to
what
me in restaurants too. I can remember being
I
in a restaurant, yes, and but like and having a sister, a black waitress
uh-huh.
that was giving me a hard time, you know what I mean? But but I responded very maturely.
See?
But I did ask for the manager and stuff, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I went Karen on her or but you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But it was just like, the way that I don't know, like the way that I felt like she handled me because
Mm.
I was a sister,
Mm.
it was just like
Wow.
you wouldn't have responded to what I mean, a woman of another, nationality like that. You know what I mean? So, it'd be like those types of moments, you know what I mean, where but it was like, all right, okay, I'll keep my cool and
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna handle this,
Mhm.
diplomatically. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah, yeah, and I taught my daughters to, be that same way, you know what I mean, as far as like, what I mean, maintaining their grace, and their pleasantness instead of snapping out and stuff, you know what I mean? Because I used to tell them like that's what people be expecting you to do,
Exactly.
unfortunately,
Exactly.
like that stereotype, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely need to talk to them about those types of things.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
So like,
real.
yeah. And you see how
Mhm.
peaceful my girls are.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. And a piece. That's like, and I was like, and I think about especially like how we grew up, and it was like we always had to be tough. Like we like it was just
Right.
like what and it's like
Exactly.
how the whole shift when we became moms to like no, we want you to be peaceful. We want you to have zen. Like you don't
Yeah.
need to be hostile, ready to fight all the
You don't have
time.
to be fighting. Yes. Yes. It was like, no, let's learn how to use our words.
My word.
Let's say what we need and what I mean and stuff. But and it's like, I feel like I was teaching them things and trying to be the best example as I could, even though I still had the upbringing that I had. You know
That
what I
part.
mean? So it was
Yes.
like I feel like I was,
Yes.
started learning more from them as much
Uh-huh.
as they was learning from me.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like they learn how to keep their calm. You know what I mean? Even though I was still struggling with keeping my calm. You know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, I work hard at staying peaceful and choosing my words wisely. You
Yeah.
know, think twice, speak once. I had to learn that.
Right.
I had to learn that. I really did. I think I feel like I've grown a lot with that. With just
Yeah.
thinking about things,
Right.
before I speak and react.
Mhm.
But yeah, but it's definitely tough. Like when you have grown up like strong and tough your whole life, like, and that's all you knew was how to be strong. You know.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
And they're saying like like when you hold that like in silence, like it can feel like burdensome to you and like isolating when you're like
Yeah.
holding all that in. right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. And like when you give a voice like to your pain, right?
Mm.
It kind of liberates you, right?
Wow.
It
Yeah.
liberates you from that.
Mhm.
It happens to wear that cape as a
Yeah.
of like it lets you like you know what I mean. When you give a voice, like
Yeah.
you said, like I'm not okay, like just saying I'm not okay.
Yeah.
You help. I can use your support, right? You feel liberated, just
Yeah.
keep go, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
it's like go
like
ahead and express it. That's why I love art so much. You know what I mean?
yes,
I like so if like, years ago it was more like the dancing. It would be like, all right, like I remember that song Dance My Pain Away. You know what I mean? So I would go out dancing. I would dance.
Father.
Yes, dance my pain away. I got
Yes,
problems.
yes,
Oh,
yes, 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 yes. Just doing that,
yes,
it's
yes.
it's like we we
It
we
helps.
we yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We
Yep,
we
yep.
we embrace ourselves with some compassion and grace,
Yes, indeed. You have to.
knowing that we
Yep.
are worthy and
That's
valuable.
right. That's right.
Yes, 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 yes. But
Mhm.
they say like, through it all, they consider black women like the bedrock like of the families and the communities, and everyone benefits from it. Like when
Yeah,
mentally and physically well.
right.
Everybody benefits from it physically and mentally well.
Mhm.
Bedrock of
Yeah.
everything.
Because the
Are
thing is like because we are.
exactly.
We are, yeah. It's like we got it. It's like we have that ability, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, like when we're at our best,
Yes, yes, yes,
to,
yes,
and think
yes.
clearly and making the decisions and yes, and handling, we do be handling it. We be
Do
getting down,
handling it. Yes, yes, we do be definitely
Yeah.
handling it. We definitely
Yep, yep.
Yep. So, and we was talking about before about like pouring into like someone's cup if ours is empty or half full.
Mhm.
Like if we're not 100%, if we're not feeling our best thing, how can we pour into something else? Like how can we
Exactly.
be our best? Because we are expected.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But if we're not taking care of our mental health and our physical well being, then how are we gonna be good for anybody else? Right?
Right.
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 Yep. So like they talk about like the balancing the strengths and the vulnerabilities. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So like it's important to recognize the resilience as a valuable trait. Right. But it shouldn't overshadow the importance of self-care. Right.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
vulnerability part of it. Right.
Right.
So like the true strength includes recognizing the need for rest.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
Setting boundaries.
Uh-huh.
Prioritizing one's own well-being, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
seeking support when necessary.
Yes.
The balancing act,
Mm.
right? Balancing the strength
Yes.
and vulnerability, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's like they say you breaking free from the harmful aspects of being a strong black woman, right?
Mhm.
That we know that involves the challenging expectations and but we need to like normalize that, right? Because
Yeah.
it does definitely affects like your mental health, your physical health, and like encourage the black women to like prioritize their own needs, right? And
Right.
and seek the help without feeling shame or guilt about it. you know
Exactly.
that's the most important part, because I
Yeah.
know for a long time that I would feel real guilty about asking for help. You know,
Yeah.
you know, and that shame does come along with it when you have been a strong black woman for so long. You know,
Mhm.
because sometimes people can be cruel. Like they
Right.
people holding it together, and then as soon as you need help, and then it's like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but sometimes we just have to get out of our heads and say, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm just a human being trying to figure it out. Listen, I'm wearing this cape, but this cape need to come down. Like,
Yeah.
can I get a hand? Like,
Right. Right.
cry to the side.
Mhm.
like, listen, how can you support? You want to support? Hey, I need this done. I need that done.
Yeah.
So and you know what? I found that difficult. You know how when you come into situations like I can give you a prime example, like when the whole situation came with the whole fire in my neighborhood, right? And people
Mhm.
were not people that I didn't even hear from or talk to in like a long time. Were like, oh my god, I heard what happened. Like, if you need anything, let me know. Or why don't you come? You could come stay with us. We got room. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Like just them extending. Like I felt good that people were extending.
Mhm.
They were
Yes.
like, "How can I support you?" Me, I'm like,
Right,
"No,
right.
I'm okay. We got it. We figured it out."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm like, "Okay, I appreciate you." And
Yes.
knowing deep down inside that I wanted to be like, "Okay," you know,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Cause it was like the just the people reaching out and like love. It was like, oh, y'all need some of this stuff because we had to evacuate our house for a few days.
Mhm.
They were like, I have an extra room if you want to come stay with me. And I was just like, oh my god, like that's so sweet. But guess who was staying in the hotel?
Mhm.
I'm like, child. Sometimes you gotta put that pride to the side. But I don't like,
Yeah.
I don't like being a burden. I don't like inconveniencing people. I'm like,
Mhm.
although they offer it, but I still just like, okay, I appreciate
Yeah, and see, and that's how I am too. It's like I be feeling like that, asking for something like you said is going to
it. Right.
inconvenience somebody, or what I mean, you be
Mm-hmm.
feeling like, oh, I hate to bother you, and stuff. But yeah, it's just things that we got to get over.
It does. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like how one of the first people in the chat was saying, like how it was like instilled in us, like that we just have to be
Mhm.
strong, like all the time.
Yeah.
Strong, right? But it said ways to like kind of do that balancing, like of the strength and like the vulnerability. It said like embrace your self compassion and like prioritize the well being. Like treat yourself with kindness, right? Like
Right.
love on you, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes, yes,
We say that
yes.
all the time, right? Yes.
Time. Treat
Hug
yourself with
yourself.
kindness. Yep. Recognize your worth, inherent your value,
Yeah.
um, the right to prioritize your own needs, right? And your
Mhm.
emotions without feeling guilty or selfish about it, right?
Right.
It took a long time for me to like
Yes.
stop feeling guilty or selfish. Like, and you highlighted an example of how when you would want to treat yourself to something, and you're like, no, 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 but the girls need this, and it's
Yeah.
like, and you feel guilty because you buy something for yourself. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
I stopped that guilty. Then when my kids got older, it was like, okay.
Oh, right. But look, but it took them getting of age,
Oh, I know.
you
Ain't
know.
that crazy? Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, because
Like,
I be saying that now. I be like, well, Obasi done turned 18. I be like, they all grown now. It's like, whoa, like I can finally focus on me and like really fully just focus on myself. You know what I
yes.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then on
Mm-hmm.
the other hand, I'd be like, but can I? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like I can, but they're still always right there. I reach out to them every day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still always checking in, Bossy, he's about to go to college, so
Mm-hmm.
it's still like, what does he need? You know what I mean? Like I know it's not over. You know
Right.
what I mean? I know that
Never
I'm
over.
not like,
It's
yes,
never
it's
over.
never over. Oh,
It's
Isis
never
reminded.
over.
Isis gonna say that to me the other day. You know what
Ah,
I'm saying?
mm,
Yes.
mm,
Um,
mm. But
yeah.
mine is grown with kids and it's not over.
Right,
Okay,
right.
it's never over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I
It's
was
like
like, but
once
it's
a mom,
nice,
always a
it's
mom.
like it seemed like it's like I'm able to do less,
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
them and just look more at like what my needs are and what I want to do,
Right,
and
right,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely helps you prioritize yourself a little bit better when they
Yeah.
are older and they start to be able to be independent and do things on their own. But
Right.
once a mom, always a mom. Once a parent, always
Yeah.
a because even the
Yeah.
grown kids, like they gonna look to you because you're their parent.
Yes.
Even if they're grown.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
Mhm.
Let's say another way is like affirm your worth. Like use affirmations. Like I am worthy of rest and care. Right?
Yes.
Worthy
Yes.
of rest and care.
And
Yes. Let me say that
care.
again. I am worthy of rest and
And
care. I need
care.
to myself, right? And the right to prioritize, like,
Right.
and make sure I'm determined. I deserve to be cared for. I deserve
Yes.
to be cared for, right? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Woo!
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
And
Yes.
count and like take away that narrative that equates that worth and strength is a sacrificing, you know.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Change that narrative.
Yes.
Just just say I am worthy of rest and care. I deserve to be cared for.
That's right.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
And reclaim your rest. That's how you do
Yes.
rest. Recognize that rest is essential for your healing and your well-being, right? And it's
Yes.
not a sign of weakness because you want to rest.
Yes.
What
Like now, it's like I do. Like I'm gonna say, as soon as we get off here, you see how I've been yawning. I'm
the-
going to take me a nap.
I know that's right. Yes, reclaim it. Reclaim it. Because I already know you're almost there. Yep.
Yes.
Um, like and shift your mindset. Like move from a mindset from I must be strong to I deserve balance and emotional
Mhm.
well-being.
Yes.
Instead of saying I must be strong, I deserve balance
Balance and
and
emotional
emotional
well-being.
well-being.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, ladies. Yes, queens. Yes,
Yes.
goddesses.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? We
Yes.
deserve it.
You
Yes.
deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Right. And don't be afraid to set clear boundaries and
Mm-hmm.
say no. Right. I've gotten better with
Mm-hmm.
saying no. I can honestly say that I've gotten better with saying no. Like protect your time and energy. Like create
Mm-hmm.
like the no zones. Like when it
Yes.
comes to like work life, school life, or even your personal life. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Find like the extra responsibilities that drain your energy.
Mm.
That part.
For real.
Yes.
Yeah. I be running from stuff that drain me.
That drain energy. Like it took me a
Yeah.
long time to understand that part. Like stop
Mhm.
pouring, stop giving too much of myself. That I'm so depleted. I have nothing left because I've given it
Right.
all
That's
away.
not good. Like you said, that's not generosity.
Not. It's
That's
not.
good. Yeah.
I've so done it so many times that I was like, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my god, like now I don't even have the strength to do anything for myself. I don't even want to do nothing for myself because I done poured my whole time into this. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like, no
Yeah.
more, no more, no more.
Mhm.
Yeah, yep. The learning to say no. Like and learn and it's a learn to decline with grace. Like
Mhm.
love to. I really would.
Right. Well, I'm gonna
Like
say so. Let's say I remember seeing things like and this is what I'm telling you. Like I love my daughters, man. Like they really are like amazing. And
mhm.
I remember Isis had told me, a while ago. She's like, "No is a complete sentence.
Mm,
No is a
mm,
complete sentence. You don't have to explain. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Just no.
mm, mm.
No is a complete sentence.
Mm,
Yes.
love that. Love that. No
Yes.
is a complete sentence. Love
Yeah.
that. Mm.
Yeah.
So that's so it said the decline with grace. So saying no and like express gratitude for the opportunities, but clearly articulate why you
Mhm.
can't take them on at that moment. Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do
Hmm.
that
You
for
can do that
sure. Yeah.
well. Instead of just leave
Mhm.
it at the open. No. Well, I love it.
Mhm.
I appreciate it so much. I just can't do. I can't take it on at this
Yes.
time.
Mhm. And like you said, and that's keeping it graceful.
It is keeping it graceful.
That's keeping it graceful.
Keeping it graceful.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a lot of those graceful no's.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Like, um, I definitely, like you said, had to learn, what I mean, to be more like that because of like the people pleasing. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so even like, when you don't want to, it's like you be feeling bad, that you're saying no,
Right.
and so it's
Right.
like, you don't know this explaining or it's trying to rearrange things and stuff, still
Yeah.
trying to work it out for folks and stuff. You know what I
That
mean?
that
Right.
part.
But yeah, but like like you said, I would love to, but I'm not gonna, be able to because of this, that, or the other, or even just like no, not this time, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because like, cause I get invited to a lot of stuff too, and so sometimes it'd be like, all right, I can't be everywhere, so it would just be like, I'm not gonna be able to make it to this, or I won't be able to do that, or you know. But
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, instead of just saying no, I think with my children, that's where it was just like the no.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Mommy,
So
can you
when
give
you
me the?
like, had to, decline in a graceful moment. Say, I would love it. Thank you so much. I'm glad you invited me. I
Yeah.
appreciate the opportunity to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Right. Right. Yes.
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, and they said, like prioritizing your mental and your emotional well being, right?
Peace of
Remember that
mind over everything.
over everything. Yes.
Over everything.
Remember that
Put it
saying
on
no
a
to
t-shirt.
others often means yes to yourself.
Yeah.
And your need for rest and personal growth. Yes. So saying no
Yeah.
to others means yes to yourself.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And another one too is like communicating your boundaries effectively, right? So
Yeah.
like be assertive and direct when communicating your limits, right? Um,
Mhm.
Explaining the reasoning behind your decisions while maintaining professionalism, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Like tell them like, no, I ain't got time. Like, listen, I just that was thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the invitation. But
Mhm.
however, I have so this that no going on. But thank you for thinking of
Yeah.
me, though. I appreciate
Yes. Yes. Yes.
that means a lot that you ever thought about me. you know,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And this one is a big one too. Like seeking support and like building community, right?
Right.
Like connecting with a supportive community, like and surrounding yourself with like a network of friends and families and mentors,
Mhm.
support groups that can even help you understand like what you're going through. Like you have to be open, be like, listen, I'm not okay. Like I'm struggling with this. Like I do need help with this.
Right.
And have that village or that tribe that could jump in and dive in and be like, okay, I got you. What
Mm.
you need? So
Exactly.
just have them that support system. And that's what I'm learning. Like just and like surrounding myself with people that I know that genuinely like care or that love me, and that I know that if a situation happened that I could call on, and it's like vice versa, because I try to be that for everybody in my circle. You know
Yes.
that
Yeah.
that who come to. It's like I was tickled pink about my little friend called me auntie yesterday. I
I'm
was
gonna
cracking.
tell her. Mm,
I was tickled pink. I was like,
mhm.
"Tell me." I say, Tara, you better tell him. You better tell him, don't play with me like that, because I'll be like, where my nephew at every event. So stop playing with me.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right. He's a cool cat. Yeah.
it was so cool. It
He
was so
was. Yeah.
yeah. But they said like
Mhm.
and like find culturally tailored mental health support.
Mm. Culturally tailored mental health support.
Culturally tailored mental health support.
Culturally tailored.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Explore the resources that specifically designed for your unique needs, like especially as a Black individual.
I hear that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I ain't even
That,
gonna
that,
front, um, I feel like that, like the musical that I'm in feels like a support group for me.
oh, good.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's like, and because I know that is, a couple other people that are there that is like they kind of feel that way too. You know what I mean? Like they're so glad that this is happening. You know what I mean? Because
Mm.
the way how we feel like, it's like it's family, it's community, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Like we show up, and it's like we're together. We pray before shows, we eat, just the discussions that we have and stuff and what we're doing and what we're trying to
Mm,
do, what we're doing for the community.
mm.
It's such a beautiful thing.
Love that.
It's such a beautiful thing.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one thing I missed about when we were dancing all together as the African connections and all that.
Right.
We was getting
Yes.
together every day to rehearse. It was like we were like family.
Yes.
I definitely missed that part. I definitely missed that part. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely missed that. So yeah, I'm
Yeah. I
glad
mean,
you're
are
able
you
to
are you interested in doing something like that again?
perhaps,
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 because I'm like, maybe I can bring you down and you can, audition with
perhaps,
No Longer Bound.
perhaps.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. What
Mhm. You're talking
myself.
about that. Yes.
Um, and it said like don't be afraid to ask for the help. We were talking about this whole segment. Like don't be afraid to
Mhm.
ask for help. Like recognize that seeking the support is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Yes. Yes,
Right?
indeed. Like I respect that. You know what I mean? We know when people do that, when they reach out
Yes,
for help.
yes. It is kind
Yeah.
of not weakness. Okay, ladies, if y'all
Right.
listening, all right?
Yeah. Like I said, that's wisdom. The wisdom to
Yes,
recognize that you need some assistance.
yes, 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 yes. Like I have been
Mhm.
guilty of being strong too long.
Me
I've
too.
kind of perpetuated that myth about the strong black woman for so
Mhm.
long, that I would
Yeah.
not ask for help. But I'm here to tell you
Right.
that it's not helping you by not asking for help or support when you need it. It's definitely not.
Mhm.
And it puts a lot on you physically, mentally, emotionally. It does a lot. It definitely does a lot.
Right.
Feel like you can't reach out or you're afraid to reach out. Let your pride get
Yeah.
in the way. So it's only hurt you in the long run. Trust me. I know. I know.
Exactly.
I know. Yep. Yep. And it
Yeah.
comes to that point sometimes like it could be so far deep that you might have to like actually seek like therapy or counseling to like help you
Mhm.
navigate or get through it, right? You know.
Yeah. And it's
So
nothing, and that's a good thing too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's good to even check in. Like, it's just a part of, like, make it a part of maintenance.
yes,
You
yes,
know?
yes, 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 yes,
Mhm.
yeah, yep. Because it has been ingrained in us for so long, that like seeking that extra like counseling or therapy like can help with like the coping mechanisms and stuff like that or the challenges that come along
Mhm.
with that stereotype of being a strong black woman. Sometimes
Right.
I need that person that ain't got nothing to do with you, that ain't in your daily life, just
Mhm.
to let it all out. This is what I'm
Right.
this is what I'm struggling with, you know?
Mhm.
Yup, yup, yup. And then they have like a special like therapy for like black girls. Like, like practice like your mindfulness. Like we talk about all the time about you practice your mindfulness, right?
Yes.
And your stress reduction.
Yeah.
Stress reduction techniques, right? Um,
Yes.
like incorporating the practices like the deep breathing. I know you love that. And like the yoga
Mhm.
and the meditation, right?
Absolutely.
To help manage your stress and anxiety, about feeling like you need to be strong and that you don't have somebody to help you through and navigate, right? And you always
Right.
got that cape and that shoulder on. Just doing like
Mhm.
mindfulness could help you through it. Like I find myself, like I said, when I get to that point where I need to go sit in silence, it's like
Mhm.
that's my way of shutting off the world. It's too much has been happening. I'm overwhelmed. It's too much. It's too much.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's time
Yes.
for me to shut everything out and just take a moment to sit in silence, to
Yes.
breathe. You know what I mean? To reset
Mhm.
my mind back right. Okay.
Right, right. It's
That,
like give
that's
yourself a
okay.
reset.
Right. That mean I'm not okay if
Mhm.
I need to be just checking out from everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mhm.
Yep. And just saying just finally just reclaim your vulnerability, right? Give yourself
Mhm.
permission to feel, right? Challenge your expectations that require like the black women to always be strong and independent. Challenge that, right?
Yeah.
And allow yourself like to express emotions and be vulnerable without the judgment. You know,
Mhm.
to just be say, you know what, I'm not okay. you know,
Yeah.
I got this going on. I could really use some support. You know,
And yeah, and like you said, and once you recognize that you're not okay, definitely do something about it so that you can be okay. Like, don't just
right?
walk around just not being not okay. You know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Right. Yeah. Yeah. They said like recognize like your vulnerability as a strength. Recognize
Mhm.
it as a strength, right? Understand that Sean, their vulnerability allows you for a deeper connection to get like that genuine support. Right.
Right.
Doesn't diminish your power because you asking for that support.
At all.
You know what I'm saying?
At
No?
all.
Yep.
Yeah, for you to
And
just be like, for you recognizing that you need to calm down and recognizing that you got some things you need to heal, recognizing, that you need some self-care, like that is strength,
that is strength.
you
That's
know.
definitely strength. That's true. Yep, yep.
Mhm.
And limit them stereotypes, right? So reject that notion that you must exist in the confines of the strong black woman.
Yeah.
Resist it. That she has
Yes.
to be that stereotype. Right? Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. But woo, man,
Yes. Mhm. I love it.
you don't even realize that why you're talking about these things, like, man, like, yeah, like that's real, right? The strong black woman has been around for years and centuries.
Yes, yes. And
Hold
that's
on.
why it was like I wanted to be able to come on and have this discussion today, even though I wasn't feeling all that great. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It was like, no, it was like I'm gonna, you know what I mean? It was like I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I ain't 100%.
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, like I said, I wanted to be able to have this conversation, today because I feel like it matters, you
Exactly.
know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
See, a testament of your resilience and your strength. He's like, listen, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make you do what it do, but it's okay.
Yes.
I'm not feeling well. I'm gonna let my body rest and still be strong.
Yes.
That
Come on there,
doesn't
son.
show weakness
Oh,
and show strength. Yeah.
I didn't see. All right, I'll talk to you in a minute. Sorry.
Yes, yes. But that is the true epitome of a strong black queen.
Yes.
Making it do what it do and taking the time out to say my body still needs rest. So
Yes. And you see, I'm
just
in my
just
bed.
the balancing act. The balancing act. You know what I mean? The
Indeed.
balancing.
Yes.
The
Yes.
balance. Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Indeed.
But that was our discussion for today. The myth
Mhm.
of the strong black woman, right? And how it can lead to burnout. You
Yeah.
know. So I hope that somebody got a little takeaway from this. I
I
hope
hope
it
so.
something that we said or spoke about resonated with you. Because we do understand that you could have been anywhere in these two streets. And you were a
Yeah.
part of our life. And it was all love, all
Oh,
love,
love.
all
Yeah.
love. And totally, totally, totally appreciate you. Totally, totally
Indeed.
appreciate. Yes,
Hmm.
for being here. This is our Sister Talk Sunday. We do this on Sundays at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time. Yes, and always
Hmm.
you never know what we're gonna talk about. You never know what we're gonna talk
You
about
never know.
on
Right.
any given Sunday. You never know what we're gonna talk about, right? But we definitely appreciate you. So
Hmm.
TB from TB's Life. That's my lovely sister, Janae Goddess Light from Artistic Healing Expressions.
Hmm.
Yes. And if you have not done anything for yourself today, please do something for you. Love
Yes.
on you.
Love
Yes.
on you. Hug
Kind
on
to your
you. Kiss on
yes.
you.
Yes. Be
Mm.
kind to you.
Yes.
Be kind.
Yes.
And most of all, I want you to have a great, great rest of your week.
You'll be
And I look forward to talking to you on the next Sister
next
Talk Sunday. Thank you
Sunday.
so much for being here, everybody. Have a great
Yes.
rest of your day and a
Peace
great
and
week.
love.
Talk to you soon.
See you,
Bye.
sister. Peace.